So yeah, this is part 2 of my video of discussing, going over best spots to ride now during winter time. Didn't do an intro to this one obviously because I was thinking it was gonna be one entire video, but then it ended up being about an hour of recording, and I realized that it's gonna be a very long video, so I rather split it up into 2. So this is basically the intro, going straight into the rest of the spots and locations of places that I like riding now during wintertime when the bike parks are not open. So without further ado, let's jump straight into it. So another spot moving on is Växjö. This spot, or this town, has 2 great places to ride now during winter. The first one I've been to twice, which is Notteryd. And basically it is mainly natural tech, but some slight builds. But there are a lot of fun, these trails. I love the terrain there. And when I was riding there, it was frozen, but it was still like, it had been dry and then the ground had frozen, so it was actually really nice and grippy for this time of the year. Probably the most confident I've felt on the bike for the last month at least, maybe more. And yeah, the trails there are super fun, super fast paced, some of them. Enduro and Search for the Holy Trail has some really nice fast sections at the start. The Search for the Holy Trail then has a steep little chute that it ends off with. Super fun trail, probably my favorite I would say there. Then we have Gravedigger, has some really cool sections. It has a really cool start where you have to turn into a little rock roll. It doesn't look like much on camera, probably when I'm showing it here, but it is actually pretty off camera, so you actually really have to lean into the turn as you go down. Otherwise I think you will just slide off and probably crash. Also has a fun little drop later on. Preacher Man and Hope are a bit more rough. I think it's Preacher Man that I did first. It is a little bit more rough, like I said, but still techy, fast in sections. Hope is probably one that I like the least of the ones that we did. Simply because it has these tight switchbacks that are still pretty rough, so it felt like I didn't really get good flow for there. Obviously as you get better it will feel better, but to me that was the trail that I felt the most awkward on. Also has Mercy, which is a blue, a little bit faster once again. Has some fast sections. Babylon is a little bit more pedally, but it has 2 cool little rock rolls on it, so it's worth the pedal to get there. Because I really enjoy the trail. And then it has this pretty big rock roll that it's not part of a trail, it's just a feature. I can probably say, I know that I'm kind of bragging here, but I was the only one out of us 4 that actually did it at the day that we were there. Basically the first time in the summer when I went, I also spotted this rock roll, but then I was on my own. I had evolved quite a bit from the summer to now when I did it, so I did not feel comfortable hitting it on my own in a place where there were not a lot of people. Basically, I felt like way too high of a risk to do it then. But I did it the second time around in freezing conditions. I did obviously fill out the rock and made sure that it was dry and not icy, which it was, so it was good conditions to hit it, and felt good, really happy to hit it. And it's a really cool rock roll to go and visit, because there are not a lot of rock rolls like that really in Sweden. There are some, but not a lot. So it's a really cool, unique feature to go to. There are a few more trails than ones that we did go to, but from our lovely guides, Dyalla and June, that both lives there in Växjö, they said that they're not worth at the moment because there's been some lumbering there in an area as well. So basically the rest of the trails that we didn't end up riding, they said that it's not really worth it at the time. But maybe for the next time, we'll see if they get rebuilt and fixed. The second spot is Ekeberg, and I'm a little bit gutted that we got such a short time. Basically we only got to really try out 3 trails, I think. It was Djungelvål, Kolasnöret and Gröna Grodan. 2 reds and 1 black. Djungelvål is a really cool like freeride-esque trails, has these wooden berms into then a small little drop. Really short but intense. Gröna Grodan is a jump trail, has a few gaps, didn't do all of them. This is the trail that I really feel like you need to learn before you can actually commit to it. Also has some tabletops, has a pretty significant drop. Also has this really cool wooden, like, I don't know what to call it really. You go up and down, on and off pretty much, I don't know, wooden feature. We saw glimpses of some of the other trails that were next to the ones that we did. And yeah, there's some interesting features and some interesting trails there. Like I said, we only got to try out 3 of them, really, and I don't know exactly how many they are at the top of my head, but I know that there's a lot more, at least twice the amount that we did. 90% sure that it's more than twice the amount. But from the taste that I got from riding trails that time, it seems like such a good fun spot that I will be super excited to go back to in the future and check out all the other trails that we didn't ride this time out. And yeah, it's one that I highly recommend. I think both these spots actually deal very well with with rain and bad weather, because even if it wasn't frozen, if it didn't deal well with it, there would still be like a lot of frozen puddles and stuff, but there were not really any on either. So it seems like 2 good spots to go visit at this time of the year, because I was there just like roughly a month ago, maybe even less, and the trails were in good conditions, so a really good fun area to ride in. Like I said, you have 2 spots there, and I'll recommend both of them. And moving on to probably, can I say that it is the best spot in my opinion? Maybe, it's definitely top 3, and it is in Värnamo and Alandsrydsbacken. I've only been here once, and it was towards the start of the autumn. It was pretty much as the leaves started to fall. And this place is so good, like I love the trails here. I think I said it in the video as well, like if you take an average of the fun of every single trail, it's really up there as one of the best spots, like bike park or non-bike park, if you ask me. All the red trails here are amazing. It's a good mixture of, I would say that all trails have sections that are flow and also tech, like it goes back and forth a little bit, but some more flow, some less flow and more tech. But it's just such a good mixture of, there's everything here, like there's drops, there's jumps, there's gaps, there's some like really gnarly ones, there's ones like rock that they use as a step down at the start of, I can't remember what it's called now, could be freeride, I could be wrong, but it is a really cool start to a trail. I refused to do it last time I was on my own, and maybe if I bring friends I might do it, we'll see. Not gonna say too much, but then there's this rock drop that has a small little gap. There's a bunch of jumps, or well, not a bunch maybe, but there are a lot of jumps. A few drops. It has this creek gap as well that is so cool. Doesn't look like much on camera, but it is actually a little bit significant. But a lot of fun to hit. I just love this place. Trenduo Boys is probably my favorite trail there. It's just a good, you just carry good speed throughout. Has a few drops, has a few fun enduro-esque sections. And even the blue, although it's not very well maintained, I would say. It was a bit muddy, a bit sloppy when I was there, and maybe a bit overgrown in places. It does still have a lot of fun sections. I think the bottom section is the most fun on the Blue Flow Trail, because you have these 4 optional drops. going from small to big, and the big one is actually quite fun and somewhat significant. There is a little bit of a small gap, and yeah, it is not super small, so it's a lot of fun to hit, and yeah, it's just an amazing spot once again. Like I said, I was there at the start of autumn, so the ground was still in decent condition. I do not know how well this deals with mud, because once again I haven't been there, but I think I will be going there somewhat soon again, and then you will be able to see how it deals basically with this kind of weather, if you want to wait for that. But other than that, yeah, like I said, the trails themselves, so much fun. Love them all, and yeah, I was so impressed when I rode there, and it will for sure not be the last time that I do. So, moving on to Borås. This is one that's a little bit tricky to recommend because I was at åsar the last time I was there. And basically, if you don't know, I'm sponsored by BCF, or Borås Cykelfabrik, so they're located there. So Borås is a place that I will visit every once in a while to meet them, and also I maintain my bike there basically if I need fixing. So I will go to Borås every once in a while, and there are a few different spots. The only one that I've visited so far is, like I said, åsar, but it was so tricky when I rode there because they hadn't cleared out the leaves, so it was super wet, a lot of leaves, and underneath it was muddy with wet roots, so one of the trickiest conditions that I've ridden in, but it is still a fun spot. I could see why people enjoy it, but maybe it's not the best this time of the year, but I will still mention it. Maybe they've cleared out the leaves at this point, I don't know. There are a few other spots when I look at trail forks as well that seem like they have good trails. So basically, yeah, I will make sure that I check them out later on, but like I said, these 3 spots I haven't been to, so I can't like recommend them on my own, but there are 3 spots called I-15 or I-15, Notteryd and Kransmossen. Like I said, haven't been to any of them, don't know how they ride in this weather or at all, but there are 3 more places that I will check out in the future when I go there. That they look a lot of fun, like a lot of fun as well. Moving on as well is Hovdala, and this is another place. This is just a fun place. Like the trails that are on trail forks are only green or blue, but the blue flow trails, or like the blue trails there, are so much fun. The jump trail is nice and fun. The 2 other blues are more tech speed flow. Like, it's hard to explain, but it is still quite flowy, although it's more natural tech. Just a lot of fun, like small little jumps, just nice, fast paced, yeah, a lot of fun. And I was really impressed because I looked at trail forks and it's just green and blue, so it's not too much to expect, but yeah, I was really impressed with the trails there, and especially since there aren't that many, I still got pretty comfortable since I got to ride them like 3-4 times. And yeah, it's a really fun little spot if you just want to have a good time. Like I said in the video, sometimes you don't always want to push yourself to the limit and like feel like you always have to improve. Sometimes it's nice just to go to a place and just have fun, and that was it. The perfect spot for just having fun, in my opinion. Apparently, according to Joel, a friend of mine, you've seen him in some videos, there are more trails that aren't on trail forks here, so I will be sure to bring him next time I'm going there, so that he can show me the unofficial trails, so to say, because apparently there is more than what I rode, and would be fun to check them out, and I will for sure in the future. But if you also just want to do the ones on trail forks, I highly recommend them as well. Just go there, have a good time, and you won't regret it. So another spot that I visited during my first road trip up to Dyalla is Falun, and in this case Lugnet. I think that since this is quite high up in Sweden, there is a risk, or a way higher risk, that there will be snow around this time of the year there. I don't know myself because I don't live there, and it's like a good 7-hour drive. But there is obviously a risk of that, but it is still a really good fun spot if the weather lets you ride, basically. Lugnet is the spot I rode on my way back from the road trip, just to once again get some riding and not just drive a car for 9 hours, I think it was. Yeah, the reason why I picked Lugnet was because there were only 3 downhill/enduro trails there. Lugnet also has a lot of XC trails, so if that's your interest, then that's a really good spot to visit for that reason as well. But even the XC trails has some really gnarly steep parts that I was like, even like myself, I was like, oh, do I really wanna even attempt that? So yeah, but the actual downhill trails are a lot of fun. The green one is just nice, flowy, still has a few little optional jumps, so still fun, keeps you interested, good warm-up. The most unique trails, and one of the most unique trails that I've ridden, is Gruvfrun, the red trail there, because it has this like staircase. Okay, so this is me way from the future, like at least a couple of weeks. I don't know why, but for some reason the recording just stopped here without making any noise or like letting me know, because yeah, I was talking about Falun and Lugnet, and I was talking about Gruvfrun more particularly, and that trail, yeah, it's really cool because it has that staircase that I was talking about. Makes it really unique, because I wouldn't say that you see a lot of trails that has that kind of yeah, terrain or option of a feature. I can also say that there's a black trail there called Fietmats. It's a bit more technical, a little bit more steeper, a little bit faster. Yeah, still a lot of fun. A good option as well to ride if you are there. There are only quote-unquote 3 trails there at Lugnet. Another spot that a lot of people talk very well about, that I haven't been to there in Falun, is Källviken. But like I said, or like I mentioned in other cities, if I've been to a spot, I can't really recommend it, right? Because I don't know myself fully since I haven't been there. But from what I've heard and from what I've seen on YouTube, it looks like a really good fun spot with a lot of trails. Basically the reason why I went for Lugnet when I passed by on my way back home was because I was coming off of 4 days straight of bike park riding. So I was pretty tired, and if I wanted to go to Källviken, where there are a lot more trails, I basically wanted to yeah, give it a more fair chance and have more time and energy to spend on riding trails there, since there's a lot more. So that's why I went for Lugnet, because there were only 3 trails, so I had the time to do them a few times, get to learn them. But yeah, apparently Källviken is also gonna be a good spot. But like I said, I can't really recommend a place that I haven't been to, so that's that. Moving on, we actually go to Gothenburg, and the city of a million different trails basically, and areas. If you look on Trailforks and go to Gothenburg, you will just see trails cluttered everywhere throughout the entire city pretty much. And that being said, some of them are obviously XC and other types of riding where it's not like enduro/downhill. But there are a lot of amazing spots and a lot of amazing trails if you like your enduro riding and downhill riding. I've been now to the 4 main spots that people like consider to be like the 4 most popular and the 4 biggest areas, I would say, being Änggårdsbergen, Delsjön, Mölnlycke, and also, now I'm forgetting it just because of that, Lackarebäck, thank you very much, memory. It's a bit tricky to like rate them to like properly, because I have not ridden every single trail in any of the areas, because these areas are huge with so many different trails. So For most of them I will have to be there like 2 or 3 times before I have actually properly ridden every single area. And once again, it's really hard because a place like Lackarebäck, for example, I went there when it was actually -degrees and started to snow. So I don't feel like I could really fairly get a representation of that spot since it was just so slippery and tricky to ride. Yeah, let's go through the 4 of them real quick. So I guess we start with Lackarebäck because that's where I went first. Like I said, I was there in snow and ice, so it was really tricky to get a good representation of how it really is. But I still had a lot of fun, and I think that says a lot about the trails there, if you can have fun even though the weather was the way it was. I basically rode most of the red and blues and stayed away from the black trails basically because of the weather once again. But yeah, it's a really good fun mixture of good enduro with a lot of rock faces. I love my rock faces, I love riding on rock slabs and all that kind of stuff. And this place has quite a lot of it. Elin's Enduro has a lot of rocks. Larssonsberg DH, I think it's called, also has a few rock slabs. And yeah, there's more scattered throughout the other trails that I rode. Also has some really good flow jump lines. Noisy Margaret turns into, it basically splits, and I think it's called is it called Bloody Mary? I can't remember actually on top of my head, but it splits up into a black version as well if you want it, with bigger gaps and yeah, some nice really flowy jumps. And also continues as the blue, being a more mellow flowy jump line. So you have that as well. It's not only like good tech, it is really nice flow jump lines as well. Yeah, just a really good spot for a good mixture of trails, so I highly recommend going there. Second place I was to in Gothenburg was Delsjön, and this might be from the first visit the place that I like the most. What I will say though is that do bring a spare of clothes if you go there and are traveling from afar, because that was really wet and it is at this time of the year. So some trails were literally me riding down a river pretty much. But this is a spot that has so many cool rock faces, rock slabs. There's so many good trails. Basically all the Notteryd trails that I rode. There's a few of them and they have all kinds of different difficulties. One being blue, one being red, and one being black. And I think there's even more than the ones that I rode. Yeah, really cool trails. Before Broken Bones is also such a cool trail, although it was literally a river when I rode down it. But I would love to go back and try that in the dry, because I did end up walking 2 things, I think. But in the dry I think I would have dared to actually commit to them. But yeah, even though it is super wet and slippery and muddy at this time of the year, I had so much fun. Like I said, I love the amount of rock faces, and yeah, really good trails there overall. And one that I will for sure be back to, like pretty much every spot that I've been to Gothenburg, but this is probably the one that I like the most from my first visit. Then we have Mölnlycke, and this is also such a cool spot because this is like, if you want to go and ride freeride in Gothenburg, this is one of those spots that I would say is for you. Has a really good like amount of black freeride trails. Our plan, me, Richard and Thomas, when we went there was to ride the 3 main black freeride trails. Unfortunately, due to it being a bit hard to find your way and navigate, and the days being so short at this time of the year, we only got to try 2 of them, being Fiat Hövding and Boba Fett. But they were definitely gnarly enough for us to have a challenging time. The one that we didn't get to do or have the time to do was King of Bongo, which is the 3rd black freeride line. But it will be there for another day. But yeah, some really challenging black trails there. really pushed us all to our limits, I would say. Also has a good mixture. It's not only those trails, they have a good mixture of blue and red thick enduro trails as well. My main issue with Mölnlycke is the fact that a lot of the trails are pretty pedally, mainly the red ones, I would say. So I mean, I don't mind having to pedal up some things here and there, but there were some quite steep and some trails was a good 2 or 3 climbs in places. So that's my main issue there, but overall the trails are really fun. A lot of fun features, a lot of fun trails. So Ravinen is also one that I really like, which is a red trail. Only had one proper upslope, and I guess that's maybe why I liked it so much, because otherwise it was really fast and steep downhill. But here, once again, we basically got to try half of the trails, because there's 2 peaks or tops. So we did one of them, and there's one entire other one that we can check out the next time we're there. 4th place that I was to was Änggårdsbergen, and once again it's a massive area that I'm no way near close enough to have ridden everything. But once again, a really cool spot. I would say that this is maybe the best winter spot in terms of how muddy and slippery it gets. There are a lot of routes, so if you go there when it's been raining, you will have a bit of a slip fest, but I mean, that's pretty much how it is at this time of the year. Other than that, good mixture. Once again, I feel like I just need mainly to find a good trails here, so to say, because I did end up on some trails that looked like they were mainly downhill on trail forks, and how it shows how it goes down. But some of them still had a lot of upslopes and were quite pedally and not that exciting for the type of riding that I like, but there were still a good amount. Overwatch I really liked. Dubbelbanten was probably my favorite there so far that I've ridden. Preacher's Flow is really nice. It's a blue flow tech trail with some smaller jumps. So I know for sure that there are really good trails as well, Flow Euro, I think it's called, and Fun Euro. They're really good fun as well. There are really good trails here for sure, and there's a lot of good trails that I for sure haven't found yet. I think it's mainly me picking some trails that I maybe wasn't a big fan of the first time I was there. So that's something for the future. But that's the 4 main places in Gothenburg that I've been to. There's also a lot of places that I haven't been to that I've heard good things about, like Floda, Enekulen, Pixbo, Hisingen. There's a lot more places for me to go to Gothenburg in the future and check out, but for the time being, that's it in terms of the spots in Gothenburg. And to end it off, we have a spot that is also pretty local to me, and that is Torup. It's about a 45-minute drive, I would say, from where I live. Currently, they do not offer lift access, but this is a ski hill, a very small one, that actually has lifts, or a lift, I should say. And currently they're not using it for the summertime and biking, but I think the plan is, as they move forward and build more trails there, that their intention is to start using the lift in the summertime as well for mountain biking. But that is when they build some more trails, because currently they have 2 that are a lot of fun, and I would recommend going there for that. And it is a pretty steep hill, but it is pretty short, so it's not too bad to walk up. It takes 5-10 minutes maybe to walk up, so it's not bad at all. The blue flow is, well, it's blue flow. I don't mind it at all. It's nice, a good warm-up. My main my main reason to go there is the red trail. Can't remember on top of my head what it's called, but it is a lot of fun. Has some good woodwork. It has some cool options. You get onto this skinny on a rock, and you can either go forward, just straight, and there's a small little rock roll that you can roll off, or you go right and you have a pretty narrow, janky little drop, a wooden drop. Yeah, it's pretty tricky to get the speed and yeah, everything to get it properly, but it is a good challenge, and I really like that trail because it is very unique and it stands out compared to other trails, and that's always what I like to go out to split spots and feel like I'm not just riding the same thing, and that it's actually something unique and fun. They have started to build a third trail, I believe. Not sure if it will be red or black, but it looks very interesting. They're basically building some woodwork onto a big rock there, so really excited to check out what is coming up there. But yeah, it's a really good fun spot, definitely a spot that I would recommend because yeah, it's a good time. So yeah, that is pretty much it for now. The thing that I can actually add as well is the fact that since I'm doing this part, like I said, because for whatever reason the recording stopped when I did it the first time, I can say that I have a few more spots that I've been to now that will not be part of this video because I have not uploaded it yet. It's in the future, but there are some spots basically that I will leave a link in the comments, and whenever I upload a video to one of the spots that I haven't been to, that I haven't talked to you about in this video, I will leave it down below, and yeah, basically let you know that okay, this is another spot that I haven't talked to in the video that is a lot of fun, because there are some good ones that I've been to recently. So check the comments if you want like a good 2-3 more spots to know about, because there will be a few more coming up. That being said, I also want to take the opportunity now to, since I know now by doing this so much later, this will be the last video that I upload of 2024, so I just want to end off as well by saying thank you so much for this year, and I hope you have a lovely New Year's Eve with friends and family, or however you want to spend yeah, your time there for the New Year's, and I hope that your 2025 will be amazing. Like I said, I will be uploading some videos that will have been recorded in 2024, but wanted to take the opportunity now since I know that this video will be uploaded before New Year's Eve. So yeah, thank you guys a lot, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one, so take care.